All right, we are back for game number 2 between CLG and Fnatic. This is part of the best of 3 series, week 3 of the Premier League. Just a heads up, tomorrow we have M5 versus Dignitas at 17 CET. Dara versus Navi, that should be a very good match at 20 CET. So I'm very good. 3 out of 4 teams tomorrow has been playing in the Star Series LAN. I think that's a very successful LAN in terms of the quality of the games that we got out of it. So
Yeah, some of the best Dota 2 games I've witnessed, and that goes all the way back to the international. So I was impressed by the quality of play from all the teams. Of course, M5 was probably the big surprise of that tournament, but really everyone played well. And of course, Navi showing off their power, and you'll get to see it again tomorrow. Maybe Dara will upset them. Of course, they're in a bit of dire straits at the moment as their roster is in a little bit of a state of flux. But I suppose enough about Dara for now. Let's talk about CLG versus Fnatic. First bands coming out. Nothing too surprising here. Panda, Darkseer, Chen. The Darkseer ban to me is the interesting one because it tells you that CLG really values this hero highly. When they had the chance to pick him up, they did, but they're not going to give him away to Fnatic.
yeah, I mean that's kind of, I guess, to me the secret of their success. The vacuum is just so key. It's the surge is defensive and offensive in both purposes. The way that they played last game, vacuum Darkseer is the best hero for it. You never know what lane he could be in because he could traverse through the jungle so quickly with Surge. He could Surge in and vacuum, and suddenly you're gonna lose a 2v1 engagement, something like that. He just makes us at the play so smooth. But
Oh boy.
wow.
Anti-mage
So
first.
real fast. You talked about like how CLG's been having the same ban. And I was like, oh, Panda first. We've seen that before. Okay, Darkseer, we could live with that. And Ricky ban straight into an anti-mage pick. Of course, the Ricky ban's protecting that anti-mage pick. We're gonna see Pycat playing that anti-mage, and he definitely picked that one for himself.
Well, I don't know. We have seen the last time I cast CLG, they did end up having Loda play the hard carry. That was a Riki, not an anti-mage. So, Pycat does normally play the anti-mage for them. We'll see though. We'll see. They've been experimenting a little bit. It's like Loda and Pycat seem to swap roles. We're gonna see Sand King Lashrak. I like these picks a lot. The Sand King, I think Fnatic's actually been pretty successful with them. Even in that game, the Sand King didn't do that badly. It was ultimately just that Darkseer roaming down to the bottom lane that put Hani into harm's way. But they picked up Lashrak, and we talked about how their tri-lane last game had no pushing power. Well, there's all the pushing power you need in a tri-lane, all in the hands of Lashrak. That Diabolic Edict so freaking good at pushing towers.
CLG not afraid of that Broodmother, will pick straight into it. Smuggling had a little bit of trouble early on. It's always interesting to watch a Sand King Broodmother kind of lane, how they kind of interact, because Sand King's going to get off to a good start, and the question is whether Sand King will be able to keep the Broodmother off. And of course, Sahani had a very, very decent time at doing so, and then Smuggling came in. And it's kind of the flux of who is the bigger, many-legged thing in the lane. It's always fun to watch, but I think attention this game is whether the Enigma is going to be soloing mid, whether that's going to be going in jungle. I do expect jungling, because CLG's been showing a lot of times they prefer the jungle to extend their goal lead a little bit more early on. Because having a 4th farmer in the jungle like that is just simply amazing. If you want to go for those, kind of mid-game kind of team fight where you depend on a quick mecha or a quick arcane boots or a quick pipe, having extra farm is really helpful in that regards.
Yeah, we saw Fnatic suffered in that department. The mechanism didn't even come online. It's like 25 minutes. And of course, by then, it was just too late. Mechanism is nice when you get it in a timely fashion. When you get it late, it doesn't do a whole lot for you because Juggernaut is critting, over the damage that the mechanism can heal in less than a second. So I like the pick of Enigma. We'll probably see a quick mechanism rush. Of course, it doesn't have to be that, but it frees up the gold a little bit, frees up the lanes a little bit. Shadow Demon is the ban here. Interesting. Shadow Demon is pretty good against Broodmother. As if Broodmother ever goes on someone, you can always either Demonic Purge her, which will remove her ultimate. You can also disrupt her or the person she's attacking, and it gives people a pretty easy escape. So I like that ban.
Yeah,
and also she's a great setup for a lot of the heroes on the Dire squad.
Of course, could be used defensively, for example, and it's a decent counter against anti-mage as well. I mean, you disrupt him, and then suddenly he's dealing with 2 illusions that could burn away his precious mana. Ironically, anti-mage is a hero that needs mana, as he's burning away other people's mana as well. So that's
he's kind of a hypocrite.
Yeah, it's like you can't have mana, but I can have mine. Boo-hoo,
Windrunner going to be the final pick here for Fnatic, or not the final pick, the 3rd pick. Of course, we are into the bans. We didn't mention the Windrunner, but hey, they are picking a lot of good AoE. So in theory, They should do pretty well against the pushing power of the Radiant, as it's mostly minion-based pushing power, which of course all the AoE nukes are going to be very effective against. Tidehunter is the next pick, so more teamfight coming out for CLG. A pretty good early roaming hero as well. Their lane, I'm curious, they're going to have to pick a hard support here, or Pycat is not going to have any fun on that anti-mage.
I think Ty has to go mid here, right? Like, he just has to.
Yeah, it's got to be a solo Tide. I mean, where else are you going to put
I guess you could do, like, Avenged Tide trialing with anti-mage. I guess. That just makes things so awkward.
Yeah, I mean, I was thinking maybe you could, like, dual lane with the Enigma, but Enigma doesn't want to be in a dual lane, and frankly, you're just better off having the Tide mid. If it's a Sand King mid, he'll be very happy, and Hani has run that Sand King mid before. Not sure if we'll see it today, but it's certainly possible. Well, CLG's going to have funky lanes, that's for sure, but knowing CLG, they will find a way to make it work.
Well, it's going to be better than Navi's 4-carry tri-lane, I could tell you that. I'm not sure if you glimpsed at that.
I watched the recording, man. What the hell was that? That's like a classic example of Navi just thinking they can win with literally any lineup, and usually being right, but once in a while.
You know that, like, of course, in the grand scheme of things, didn't mean anything. I know there's a lot of important bands flying by, but I want to finish telling my story. But that was their first loss, Navi's first loss in the Premier League, extending back to Season 1.
Oh my
They
God.
were undefeated in Season 1. They were poised to be undefeated in TPL2 because they were playing so well. And then they picked 4 carriers. I'm like, okay. But anyways, there's a Night Stalker and a roster.
I want to mention, well, I mean, basically Navi is ridiculous, and I don't want to extol their virtues too much, because I'm sure some people are sick of hearing about it. Others will never get sick of it, but I'm interested that Fnatic doesn't seem to favor junglers too much. It's another game where, you know, they banned out a bunch of junglers. They don't pick one for themselves. They give one away. And this does put a little bit more pressure on them to have effective lanes early, because you're, by default, if everything breaks even in the lanes, you're going to be losing, because that Enigma will be getting farmed in the jungle, assuming he goes to the jungle, which he doesn't have to, but Brood can also jungle their spider lanes. So I feel like this puts a little bit of extra pressure on Fnatic to perform in the early game. If you don't pick into a jungler, you have to get something done in the lanes. Whether it's just out farming your opponents, getting kills, securing runes, or pushing towers, you got to make something happen to make up for that trade-off.
Yeah, or perhaps, I don't know, gank their jungle. That's another possibility out there as well.
Yeah, that could work too.
Especially, you know, Enigma, he thinks he's all safe and alone, and suddenly you see Crystal Maiden Sand King popping up. And we're going to see a support Sand King, by the way. Oh, actually, it might not be. Well, Hani's not playing the Sand King. Hani's playing the Night Stalker in this case. Nova handling the Crystal Maiden. Era played Slaughter last game, so it makes me think it is going to be a farming Sand King, but that could change. Fly, usually the support player, playing Lesh. And No Tail, solo mid player, playing the Winner.
Yeah, I'm curious what the lanes will be here for Fnatic as well. I'm really not sure. I mean, you can send Sand King mid, you can send Night Stalker mid. If it's a Tidehunter, they'll be very happy. If it's a Shadow Shaman, not so much.
Yeah, Loda, I think he's going to be going mid with that Shadow Shaman. Pycat is going to be playing the anti-mage, of course. Miracle handling the Enigma, probably jungling. Aki is going to be on the support Tide, and Smuggling is... Yeah, we're going to see some odd lanes. We're going to see a double melee lane here.
You know what they may do, which for CLG, they're probably going to send either Loda or Ake. I'm guessing Ake will be farming with the spider lanes. And that's going to give them even a little bit more farm. I mean, this won't be from the get-go, but, you know, when Broodmother hits level 3 or level 5, you can send the spider lanes into the jungle, and then you can get your support, some much-needed farming levels. The jungle, of course, if Miracle's in there, will be somewhat occupied, but Enigma's not that fast of a jungler. There will certainly be 8 camps available for the spider lanes. 5 heroes heading down towards the bottom lane, for both teams, actually. No Tail leading the way. For the Dire, No Tail has no items. I'm not sure what this is all about. Maybe he forgot to spend his gold. Going to be running into Pycat, who, of course, is a smart choice to leave in front as he has that blink. Are we going to see an engagement here? Both looks like Fnatic wants to take a fight. I definitely would not if I was CLG. Smuggling should be okay.
Do we have detection? Leshrac does have his true side wards, but chooses to not to drop them. I guess a good choice. Yeah. Probably not going to get the kill, but...
This Radiant lineup does not want a team fight at level 1, so very
I mean, you do have a fairly spammable, you know, Void. That's okay. Yeah, Splurf, you know, or Diabolic.
No, the Radiant lineup.
Oh, the Radiant, definitely, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, they just want to run. They can't do anything early on. But we're gonna see a dueling mid, so that whoa, hold up. Okay, no, you're right. You're gonna see Tie Hunter. No, Tie Hunter and Anti-Mage's gonna be on top. Where the hell is Pycat going?
Well, see, I can't be right because I said I had no clue what, or I can't be wrong rather, because I said I had no clue what they were gonna do, and that things would be awkward. So in that sense, I hedged my bets. Nobody top.
Well, Brewmother's going there. It's gonna take a while, but he's getting there.
This is once again, Smuggle League has been pulled these tangos. Starting off with Poor Man Shield, very nice if you expect to be harassed a lot. Which if you're lane against Sand King, not gonna be as effective. We saw that last game.
We know the laning here on Fnatic makes a little bit more sense. Crystal Maiden and a Night Stalker dual lane mid, Windrunner solo bot, and that's gonna leave Fly and Sanking on the top lane. Kind of a good old, dual stun kind of lineup. Back in the good old .4 AB days. I'm not sure how many people I watching today actually remember that far back.
I think that was about when I started playing Dota, so I remember my pub games back then, but I'm not sure if I watched too many competitive games.
Do you hear an awkward sound coming from me?
No.
Good.
Oh, Loda might be in a little bit of trouble. Hasted Era coming in. Burrow Strike to initiate. Void was already used. Looks like Loda's going to go down. That's a big first blood. You do not want to be dying that early on, especially on Shadow Shaman. You really want to be hitting level 6 as quickly as possible. Of course, the EXP is not a big deal. He was only level 1. But the more important thing is you're feeding a lot of gold to this Night Stalker.
Of course, I gave a little bit of free farm to Fly on the top lane. I mean, as a support, he's very appreciating, and I lasted everything because he's bops. Smuggling finally, a minute into the game, goes back on the top lane. It makes me think like, how sometimes you go in the pub game, you all tap in too late, and you miss like the first two wave. That's what happened to Smuggling right now. He's kind of just chilling.
And then I report you for throwing the game.
Fly, by the way, does have Sentry Ward, and I hope Smuggling knows that he's not as safe as he imagined. Once Fly's a level 2. All he needs is a Split Earth, and they are gonna get a kill. If Sand King ever decides to come in, all right.
Unless Fly misses that as action on the bottom lane. Windrunner going down to a Tidehunter Anti-Mage. That should not happen.
How did that even happen?
Well, she's got Windrun. I was thinking maybe she didn't skill that, but I don't know. I didn't catch the kill, unfortunately. But yeah,
I didn't even put my camera there because I didn't expect the kill to be there. I mean, come on.
You should not be dying to win under the last two heroes. So obviously well played by CLG, but no tail. Maybe it was his lack of items, because I don't think he had them. He's got a bottle and an... What is going on here for Fnatic? They just had a courier.
Bottle Crow?
Bottle walking courier. Bottle walking courier action coming out here. Oh man, this is very confused at the moment. Nova might be in for some trouble. Eats a Gush, eats an Anchor Smash. Level 1 Malefice not being used yet. Will finally be used. Not the best stun, but it's going to be enough. Ooh. No, Nova just gets away. Kills going the other way potentially. Hani hits one Void. Nice hero blocking coming out from Miracle. Hani gonna back off.
Of course, very smart to drop the Anchor Smash as well. 40% damage reduction. I think we might need to see a little bit of a change on Anchor Smash damage reduction. Right from level 1 is just simply too strong. I think that should scale a little bit, but that's just me. Back on the bot lane here, Aki coming around. He doesn't even have mana for Gush, but he's just walking in, trying to harass. No-Tail, of course, recognizing that. We'll be sending half. But the fact that he has a Bottle Crow thing going on, he can spam away as we see a blink in, immediately forcing out the Windrunner. And he really needs to Bottle Crow in this lane. Like, his mana regeneration simply would not be enough without it.
Yeah, unfortunately he didn't start with that bottle, or he almost certainly would have lived when they went on him, so it's kind of a shame. This game is a little bit sloppy start for Fnatic. I'm not sure if that pause threw them off, but hopefully they can get things going. Hani is farming up at the middle lane. I want to take a look at the farm here for all the heroes. Era up to 16, despite starting off with that gank in the middle lane. 17 creeps for him, 15 for Hani, 8 for No-Tail. In terms of the Radiant, Pycat, Miracle, and Loda all getting decent farm. Farm pretty even, maybe favoring Fnatic just a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, you say Fnatic's a little bit down behind early, but I think they're going to be okay. They got the first blood. Windrunner now is set to recover very nicely. Level 3 already. We'll have the power shot. Aki will try to keep her out, but really it's not going to be enough. And of course, having mana into power shot, or excuse me, Windrunner all the time, she's going to be fine. So I think it's going to work out fine on the top lane, though. Looks like they're going to set up a kill against Smuggling. It's going to be close. Will it happen? Yes, it will. Burrow Strike, Split Earth into Diebok Edict. Very easily set up. Yeah, I think Fnatic is okay here.
Oh yeah, I wasn't writing their obituary just yet. I just say it wasn't a good little sequence of events for them. Yeah, No-Tail is hardcore dedicated to this Bottle Crow action, as he did upgrade that courier, or maybe one of his supports did it for him. I wanted to mention this Sand King Leshrac duel lane is so good against Broodmother. I think I've seen this matchup like 3 or 4 times, and every time, regardless of what teams it is, the Broodmother just gets nothing done. She has, I mean, Leshrack's eating so much damage early on the double stun. All you need to chase her down. Who cares if she runs at the speed of light in the webs if she's not running? It's just a really tough lane for anyone, and even Broodmother. She's pretty squishy early on.
Well, 4 minutes in, Tier 1 tower is going to be destroyed. That's going to give No-Tail some precious gold, as we see a little bit of engagement happening on the mid lane. Eat the Shark being dropped off by Loda. Loda's going to have a tough time as well. You can see that Nova's doing a very good job. Every time the rune spawns, she's kind of there checking. You know, that's going to let...
Action bottom. No-Tail popped his wind run. Might be in for some trouble. Nope. Sorry. Looked like he was going to be in trouble, but he's fine. Power shot on a Pycat. Oh, he's taking a lot of damage.
Pycat should be okay, but as I say that, I mean, No-Tail's basically got infinite mana, or at least close to it, so you know, it's just going to be quite alright at this point.
Oh, bottom lane, they're being so aggressive. Smolga almost died there. Edict doing a lot of damage to the tower. You just cannot leave Leshrack alone in a lane like this, because he's going to get 2 towers, then he'll start getting towers in other lanes. And of course, setting up kills if anyone shows up. Smolga extremely low. He's trying to stay in lane, just doing anything he can to slow down the push. Era's going to be tanking the tower if he's not careful. No, he's going to be okay.
Yeah, Arcane Boots is finished as well. I like the very early Arcane Boots rush, simply because you're going to give Fly a little bit of mana as well. And boy, he needs mana to drop that splitter from Diabolic Edict. So they're winning the top lane. They're okay in the mid lane, because I guess they got the first blood. They're not getting too much farm there. Hani's only got 25, which is not too bad, 6 minutes in. I guess they're not losing the bot lane too terribly as well. You can see, again, double checking on the rune. One of the best way to beat a Shadow Shaman mid lane is to make sure that he never gets the rune. And Loda, he might get in a little bit of trouble. There's a slow and a silence, and a couple of right hits should be able to do. No, he's going to just turn back. Interesting.
Wow, that was a free kill.
Well, he was... Well, he might still get it right now. He's going to just grab the Inverse and come right back for this. Yeah.
Oh, Loda, that was so close.
Yeah, I'm not sure if that's... He needed... Well, he was out of mana. Perhaps that's the reason why he just backed off, but...
No-Tail has rotated towards the middle lane, so they're going to be looking to apply some pressure there. Just kidding. He's going right back to bottom. His faithful courier waiting to ferry his bottle back. Miracle leaving the jungle, of course, he's actually not going with the siege creep. Normally when you see these pushes commence, the teams will wait for a siege creep.
Oh man, this is such a bait. Era, look at Era. Look at his positioning. It's gonna happen.
Oh, this epicenter could be huge. Well, he's waiting for someone to set him up, I think.
Okay, there's a teleportation. Era comes right back in. He's gonna burrow strike right on the anti-mage. Give me a stun! A stun! No stun! Okay, whoa, that is a stun! Huge stun here! Here comes Night Stalker. He's gonna focus on Aki. Aki losing HP rapidly, and he's gonna go down as well. Double kill on Windrunner. Miracle's gonna TP out, but that was a huge win. Pycat says, where did he come from? Huge play here from Era.
I thought that epicenter was going to not work out for a second. Everyone was out of range except for the anti-mage, and it looked like he could have blinked out there, but nice rotation from the Night Stalker. There's no escaping him, even if you're anti-mage this early on.
Ward gets dropped on the mid lane. They want this tier 1 tower as well. Crystal Maiden comes in trying to get something done. At the very least, she drew the creep wave. So Rasa starts to have to tank the tower, and he really doesn't want to. A teleportation comes in. I think they're going to defend the tier 1 as well, or at least attempt a deny. Yeah, I think they are going to defend it. Maybe it's going to be close. There's a glyph gets popped. The wards are being destroyed at this moment. It's going to be close. Who's going to get the Night Tower? Yep, denied by Night Stalker. Huge play here from Fnatic. They're up by 3 kills. Go chart-wise, well, they're down by 4... No, they're up by about 4,000 as well. Fnatic in a huge
They also
lead.
got the bottom tower while that was going on. So, even more gold going their way. Fly looking for the blind splitter. Oh, man, that was so close. Just barely dodging it was Pycat. He's going to skate all the way back to base. Of course, this is the best way to try and shut down an anti-mage. Constantly pressure the lanes, especially his lane, which denies him farm. Of course, with that tower dead, if they don't keep the pressure up bottom, he will start to farm, and he will be a little bit closer to his base, so he'll be fairly safe, but it depends. It is nighttime. It's going to be hard to farm. Of course, you always have to be worried about that Night Stalker showing up. Speaking of that Night Stalker, he's got Urn, he's got Boots, he's got Bottle. This is all you need to get going on Night Stalker. If you can have these items up by the beginning of the first night, you're in a good position to make big plays. And of course, that first night's so crucial. Getting those early towers, getting those early kills, getting that map control is really what it's all about for Night Stalker.
And so far, it's been pretty effective. You know, that chase on the bot lane definitely got him a little bit ahead. Night Stalker threatened to run up on the top lane there. Of course, being continuously drawn by the ward top lane, we might see a little bit of engagement. Era, he does see the Enigma. But he does Burrow Strike. Will he make it out? Malefice, ooh, just goes in the fog, and that would be fine.
That was close. They don't have detection, but Era did not realize that, so he
Here
almost
comes
got himself
Hani.
killed.
Hani got some detection, and he's got a lot of damage as well. He does have 3 charges on the urn. He's going to come by. Oh, the Burrow Strike, he missed. That doesn't help out. But he wants Miracle. Miracle will probably die. Question is how much damage he's going to take.
Hani getting blocked in here by the spider. I mean, he's probably going to pay the price. Oh, Smogolik, nice little trap. Hani going to slowly tick down. Will the help be coming, though, is the question. This would not be a great trade if he died. Oh, nice job by the team. Gonna clean up Smogolik. Thought he had that Night Stalker for sure, but Hani just too tanky right now. I mean, Night Stalker with that ridiculous 8 base armor, 1200 HP, 10 minutes into the game. He's like 3 heroes in terms of how hard he is to bring down.
They're gonna volley here. Pycat's gonna blink out. Seems like the Fnatic of last game. It's not here. This is just a totally different Fnatic.
Total role reversal,
yeah.
to be perfectly honest. It was a sloppy start for Fnatic in some ways. You know, that the Windrunner started with no items, then buying a bottle and her own personal courier, which worked out pretty well. As No-Tail has managed to
Pretty
pick a
creative
tower
and
trap.
smart, if you ask me. Maybe Windman Long Lane should be doing this.
Yeah, I like the decision to bottle Crow. I just think you should start with the bottle and not randomly
and
buy
not die,
that.
and not die to nothing, right? You know,
Yeah.
die to a tied anti-mage dual lane. But yeah, ever since that death, you know, there's nothing else that the Radiant's getting their way. Smuggling trying to get some farm going on. Now, of course, CLC by far is the more experienced team. I'm sure they have been in this situation hundreds of times before, so they would know how to come back from this. So if you're Fnatic fans out there, don't feel too comfortable at this point, because CLG could definitely come back. But gold difference right now, 4,000 gold in favor of Fnatic.
Perhaps the most crucial thing I haven't noticed until just now is that Tidehunter is only level 4. This Ravage getting delayed this long, plus if the gold differential means by the time you get it, all the supports are going to be pretty tanky. Leshrac already with 1 bracer, Crystal Maiden just about to pick up the money for a bracer, Power Treads on No-Tail. And these sound like small item pickups, but against Ravage, just having that little bit of extra HP might be all you need to walk away. So, and the Ravage isn't even online yet. Ake still has a full level to go. As we do see top lane getting pressured a little bit. Era going to TP in. Era, speaking of the Sand King, we talked about it last game. The Blink Dagger was delayed. It's not going to be delayed this game.
It might be.
I say that, he'll probably die immediately as there are 5 heroes heading top.
They want the Sankin kill, and they want the tower being pushed. Era thinks he's safe. There's no wards protecting him on the top lane. He is so not safe right now.
So royally effed right now.
Well,
oh, is he going to get away?
Well. No, that's just too much.
But they're going to get a tower, so they're getting a good trade here. And this is an important tower. It's not absolutely crucial, but it gives you decent Roshan access for the Radiant. Once the tier 1 mid goes down, the Radiant are not going to have any good access to Roshan.
They're going to go for high ground, and in an offensive attempt to protect their tier 1, that's going to draw a teleport scroll. The fact is everyone else is going to teleport back, Enigma's going to be porting back as well. There's a glyph being forced out. They did destroy the tier 1 tower on the top lane, but losing some HP on the tier 1 bottom. The tier 2 being destroyed, again, going back to what you said, that's more go for Bracer, for your Crystal Maiden, for Fly. And those small items is the difference between dying during the Ravage, dying during the duration of the stun, or surviving long enough to drop a stun of your own. And that makes a huge difference in a team fight.
Yeah, one thing I've noticed whenever Fnatic is struggling, Nova is dying a lot. And of course, that's what you expect. He is the hard support player, but it seems like even a little bit more than other teams' hard supports. So him not dying, getting that early gold is going to be very helpful. He's up to 950 gold. Could even just go for power charge. Actually, on the top lane, Epicenter was used, but they get Smogolik, like a big kill.
Yep. Smuggling was getting a little bit back into his groove. Went for power treads. I think generally that's a sign of like, oh man, I need just some kind of HP to survive. He's kind of got nothing. Anything on the courier? No. He's just sitting on treads, soul ring, and 600 gold. That is not what you want to be, especially when Sanking picking out that Blink Dagger right now. Back in the mid lane, Pycat's going to get forced back. Miracle comes back right in. They want to fly. They do get a 2-man Black Hole. It's going to get cancelled right now, but Fly survives. And we talked about the bracers, and that was all of Bracer doing all the work there.
Oh my god, he lived with like 10 health. Before that engagement, Fly also got a kill on the Shadow Shaman with the haster, and the wards were blown. And whenever we catch Shadow Shaman, we like to talk about the importance of using those wards to secure objectives early on. And dropping the wards and dying is a big deal, because not just because of, you know, the wards were wasted, but now they can't use them in a push, so it's an opportunity cost whenever you drop them in a hero engagement. And getting the kill there, even better. Fly up to level 8. Initiation coming in on the middle lane. Pycat in some trouble here. Ravage gets dropped, a bunch of heroes in trouble. Who will go down first is the question. Era not going to be able to get away. Nova gets trapped at the tower. He's probably going to go down too. Oh man, that was a bad tower dive for Fnatic.
Well, it worked out okay. Well, I want to say it worked out fine. It looked really, really good. Crystal made it even channel for a long duration of the ultimate, but Anti-Mage, of course, blinked out. Great teleport support came in from the Radiant side, and that sealed the deal. That perhaps gave away their little advantage that they had. CLG now back on the top lane, farming away, pressuring that tower. And we might see CLG again winning this game the same way they did last time, pressuring multiple sides of the map. And again, Fnatic likes to go for those team fights. Maybe less so with the lineup they have here, because Hani is a kind of a single target ganger. He is picking him Ogre Club, could be BKB. In fact, I do believe it's a BKB, which is a very, very strong choice against a hero like a Shadow Shaman and a TIE Hunter.
Yeah, it's also pretty nice against Anti-Mage because you won't be taking that mana burn, and your mana is precious when you're Night Stalker. You need to be dropping Voids and Silences constantly. Speaking of that Night Stalker, he's had the power treads for a while, and he's got another 1,400 gold in the bank, so he's actually not that far off from the BKB.
Ooh, I like this item choice coming out of the Windrunner. A gem purchase. This is like really aggressive play. Like, we're having a small advantage. Let's just gamble the fact that we're going to get total map control. That's what she's saying with that gem purchase. Not sure if she bought it or maybe a support bought it. Probably her, because 600 gold investment in this point of the game is pretty big. I don't think support even have that kind of go. Aki in position, does not have to Ravage just yet. A couple teleport scroll coming out on the bot lane. Smoke up on the two supports. They will bypass this Radiant Ward right here, and they will come in to get a little bit of stuff done. They're looking for Teal. They do see Teal. Burrow Strike gets cancelled, or Burrow Strike gets casted. Aki's going to be dead. If the Crystal Maiden want to come around, yeah, she's going to be right here. There's going to be the kill. Yep.
Dominating streak coming out for Hani. He's got that Mithril Hammer now, only 1,300 gold away from the BKB. You say that the supports don't have that much money, and normally that would be true, but they're up 5 towers. Or they're not up 5 towers, but they have 5 towers to their name. And none of them were denied, so it might have actually been a support purchase gem. Nova placing down some very aggressive wards. I really like this decision. You know, they're trying to do basically what CLG did last game, which is once you get that early lead, just secure it with map control. Getting aggressive wards placed and dewarding so the enemy doesn't know where you are.
Right, but the difference between this game and the last game is that right now CLG has some critical tier 1 towers still up. Of course, Fnatic trying to destroy them right now as we speak. Tier 1 tower will be destroyed. There's a teleport coming in. That's a tie with a Ravage. With good stun, that's going to slow down Aki, and that's going to allow them to go back defensively. Tier 1 tower cannot be denied at this point. Just missing 3 HP.
Yeah, this could be a huge bait. How committed will Fnatic be going for this tower is the question. Oh, Era might be getting caught out here. He's in a lot of trouble. Goes into Sandstorm, but they get sexed. He's going to drop.
Yeah, nice.
That was very greedy in terms of position. He pays the price.
Well, I mean, there was a chance. Oh, as we see, Hani gets shackled at the Ravage. Where's the Ravage? Ravage not getting Cassie Gush, and he didn't have mana to do so. Arcane Boots up here, and Hani will be going down. The Ravage going to secure himself yet another kill. Fly is next. Black Hole is going to get channel on 2 support. CLG's right back in this team fight. Huge mana void. Just zap down 2 support. And of course, now CLG will be having for the tier 2. They have the wards as well. No, as I say that he like Ethershock something, and now he's out of mana. Or he skilled up the second point.
Fnatic, just that was a brutal engagement for them. You know, just everyone dropping basically. If the epicenter had been there in the team fight, would have gone a lot differently. As you can see, a bunch of CLG heroes are quite low. Let's take another look at item progression here. Enigma, it does have Mechanism. That's a big pickup. This is a pretty early Mechanism, especially considering the awful start that CLG had. And that's going to get them right back into this game.
Yeah, Fnatic's positioning was a little bit questionable. Era got caught out, and then it was Hani, and then it was Fly, and then Crystal Maiden. It's like, you know, a little bit of...
You got to cut your losses at some point,
Yep.
but unfortunately they just were not able to do so.
TIE Hunter finds himself a... I mean, TIE Hunter's Ravage, we talked about how key he is. He now would want level of 11, but if he doesn't get it, it's no big deal. He's fine at this point. Arcane Boots going to be his choice, yeah. Or maybe a Root Booster, but he's going to go for Arcane Boots. Seems like mana is a issue for the Radiant side at this point. Loda's constantly low, as you expect for a Shadow Shaman would be. But I think now CLG with that team fight, a little bit back in the game. Look at this item build. It's going to be a Vanguard Vlad. So, a little bit more team fight oriented. Anti-Mage, and he's doing very well. He's not actually slowing down in the farming department either, despite him participating in these team fights. He's ahead 5 creep kills per minute.
Wow, BKB picked up on Broodmother. I like this subtle variation of the build. Of course, all Broodmothers pretty much always go either Orchid or BKB as their first item, but when you're down early, you need someone who can stand in the front lines and tank. there's no response for the BKB on the Dire squad. If Broodmother's able to pop it, she's going to be completely fine in every team fight. So I like that pickup. It's going to make her more of an early game threat and take some pressure off of the anti-mage who, and this is another difference between this game and the last game. The Radiant CLG stairs are a lot harder to kill as we see initiation onto Smoke League. Epicenter going to be used. Shackle Shot going to not latch, not going to matter in the end. Broodmother goes down. Hey, they got something, but BKB was already purchased before.
Yeah, unfortunately she didn't have to BKB. I think if she did, she probably could survive and maybe even kill one. But the gem was available, so the invisibility cannot be counted upon. I think Radiant should know about it right now. They need to get rid of that gem, or should be aware of it. There's a Blink Dagger on Windrunner.
What the hell? Are you serious?
Is Fnatic thinking this is a pub game or what?
This is some innovative strategies.
Innovative is a word that I might not use here. I mean, No-Tail is playing innovative. Bottle Crow on the long lane. I know, I get it. Blink Dagger will get you the positioning of Shackle Shot, but a Force Staff is just, I don't know, 90% of the time better.
Initiated upon. And
right.
Speaking of initiation, is there any on the Radiant? I mean, sure, you've got Ravage. There's no Blink Dagger on Shadow Shaman
yet, or
the Enigma, so theoretically you're still fine in that department. It's a very strange pickup. I'm just trying to rationalize it a little bit. I don't know if there is any rationalizing. They're doing their best to aggressively de-ward here, but PyCat is not going to let that happen.
That ward about to time out anyways, but they want that thing dead. But
yeah, from their position, it looks like they want to go for Roshan, but the creep equilibrium is not really in favor, and more importantly, perhaps, the Radiant are wise to it. Speaking of the Radiant, PyCat has picked up a Yasha and has the Mad Star recipe. So you said he was farming up and slow down. In fact, it's pretty freaking good for any game, let alone a game where Anti-Mage was being pressured a lot early on.
Yeah, I mean, you gotta keep in mind that he died in that push on the bot lane to that ninja gank by Era on his Sanking. Mid tower does get hit by the siege unit. It is deniable at this point. The question is, do you want to deny it? And I think yes. They're working on it right now. They do get denied. Now, the negative aspect of that, as we see a push happening on the top lane, is that during any Roshan engagement, like Smuggling is gonna have some trouble trying to join that, because Broodmother generally would just want to stay on the top lane forever. You could teleport to the tier 2, but he's gonna have to run a long way. Yeah, and Fnatic realize as well they're gonna go straight for the Rosh. The question is, do they have enough DPS output? And I'm gonna say no.
No medallion, no minus armor of any kind, no summons to tank. Edict does do a good amount of damage, but this is going to take a while. Speaking of taking a while, Smokelik is not taking a while. He's already breaching the high ground on the top lane. This is a good way to shut down a Roshan attempt. If you're killing their base, they can't sit there forever. Roshan is dropping, actually he's dropping a lot faster than I thought he would, but still they're going to lose some HP on the base tower. I don't think an Aegis is going to be completely game-changing for the Dire. It will be nice if they get it. As the damage to Roshan seems to have ground to a halt. PyCat blinks into the middle of everyone. Roshan gonna drop. Who's gonna pick it up? PyCat jacks the Aegis. Black hole on Hani. BKB not doing anything for him. It is keeping him alive for now. Nice ultimate from PyCat onto Nova. Nova's gonna go down. Hani's gonna go down. This is a horrible fight for Fnatic. They just didn't have the damage to bring down Roshan. As soon as that focus fire wore off, it just stopped dropping. And man, what a turn of events.
That was a sick play from PyCat. Someone send him a get well card. PyCat is sick right now. Blinks in against... He had no sight! He blinked in! Man, that was so dangerous too, and he got the Aegis. Now the team fight is won. Conveniently, they're going to drop Ward right on the tier 2. This could be one of the biggest swing. Look at the gold graph. I guess the swing was happening already. The Radiant was coming back, but that it was just kind of the nail on the coffin. Immediate third Rex, maybe. Of course, we do have Sanking available. We still have Ravage up. Black Hole is down. So maybe the game is not out of reach, but this Rex might be coming down huge. Epicenter comes around on Loda in a little bit of trouble. He is going to get brought down, but he's going to survive long enough. Ravage gets dropped off. A team fight is going to be won in the Radiant base. Here comes Hani trying to kill Loda. Can we get off of Shackle? Yes, we can. And blink back in. They can focus on Hani. No more mana for Hex. Hani will be going down. 2-man Shackle. Hani will survive. Not enough. As we see, Sanking comes in, Burrow Strike, Aki's going to go down as well. No-Tail comes in, trying to pick off Miracle. The Blink Dagger will be very helpful in this regard if the chasing pops off the Windrunner. Anti-Mage blinks in, focus on the support, gets 1 kill with Mana Void. Shackle shot blinks in with a Shackle onto the tree. PyCat's going to be fine though. He's so tanky at this point. And now he's going to go back for the later X, trying to bring that thing down. I don't think it's possible, but he's going to try anyways.
Wow. And PieCat is played out of his mind today. Holy crap. That was so well played. 6-1 and 5. 142 creeps. The CS isn't that otherworldly, but considering the lane, pretty freaking impressive. Action on the top lane. Broodmother popping the BKB. Again, the Thunder have no response for this. Sand King going to go down. Epicenter was used in that last fight. Nova's going to be the next to follow. He bites up PieCat. The GG's coming out from Fnatic.
Wow.
Man, what a back-breaking team fight at Roshan. As soon as that fight was over, you just had to feel for Fnatic. So close to having Aegis on their side. It gets jacked. They all die pretty much. And the Rex die about 10 seconds later.
PieCat is too good.
Yeah, that was
that's no fanboyism. That's no fanboyism. I'm not a big PieCat fanboy or anything like that, but that was just impressive play.
Yeah, and unfortunately for Fnatic, they just didn't have the damage. You know, you wonder maybe if Windrunner had gotten a Medallion of Courage instead of that Blink Dagger, they could have.
Or you just say Force Staff, you know, that's a plus 20 right there.
Yeah, could have Force Staff PieCat back out of the pit, or you know, some sort of other antic to help her teammates survive. But man, this game turned on an absolute dime. I don't think I mean, we've all seen comebacks in Dota, and we've all seen.
I've never seen it so fast.
But that was like 30 seconds. Team fight ends at Roshan. Racks are dying mid, and then 2 minutes before that, CLG was on the back foot.
Yep.
Damn.
Well,
I'm feeling like I'm not eloquent enough to adequately capture how ridiculous that swing of events was. But man, you do not see that very often.
well, that's it. Gonna do it for today. CLG looking perfect today, and they had a small rope bump at the beginning of game number 2, but ended up with a victory, and that's all that matters. I hope you guys enjoyed the broadcast. Of course, joining me alongside was LD from DotaCommentatorz.com, and I'm Luminous as well, and hope you guys enjoyed the broadcast for today. Stay tuned, we'll let you know what's coming up tomorrow, but that's it for this game. Congratulations to CLG, wins yet another best of 3 series in the Premier League.